just love that he's going to do this for us. This is Howard Smith, and we want to welcome thank you. We want to welcome everybody online that is joining us right now on Facebook Live. And Howard, I'm just so pleased that you have taken this upon yourself to present this historic and current meal that the Jewish people have done in the past and that they're doing now, and the meaning of it and the what it's all about. Some of you may not be familiar with this, so this is going to be awesome. Thank you very much, Howard.
I brought my yarmulke. Okay, so I'm going to be your temporary rabbi. What I want to talk about is the Passover meal, and including the Seder meal, which is part of it. Okay, Passover is the most recognized Jewish feast, recognized by Christians because of the way it's tied in with Easter. The first day is called a high Sabbath. It's always close to our Easter celebration. This year, it was Wednesday at sunset. It started Wednesday at sunset. It's an 8-day celebration outside of Jerusalem, and that's a whole other story. Passover is actually only the first night. The second day is called the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and then the third day, or usually it's the day after the regular Sabbath that week, is the Feast of First Fruits. And I think I'm going to try to tie this in a little bit later, okay? These are the spring festivals that all Jews were supposed to go to Jerusalem to celebrate. I got a picture up here of the Passover at Jesus' time. This represents the Eastern style. They are reclining as they eat. Okay, now there were probably other people there helping to serve, et cetera, and so forth. But there are carpets, and a piece of carpet and or pillows for them to recline on. Again, this is the Eastern style. All three of the Gospels tell us that they reclined at this meal. So it's kind of what we're going by. Here's another alternate of where there might have been some low stools and a little bit, maybe a little bit higher table than was in the other picture, where they both sat and reclined. This is understanding who Jesus is. This is probably more likely, because he's that kind of a rebel that he might take it this way, might not forsake the Eastern style, but at least modernize it a little bit. We're reasonably sure that they had the bread and the wine and possibly some bitter herbs, and they may have had some kind of a broth or a sop to sop it in. This is a southern thing. That broth would have been like pureed legumes, chickpeas, or beans, quite possibly with some lentils, something like a bean stew. Okay? There were also olives, bitter herbs, and a fish sauce. I found this out on the internet. The fish sauce, they were fishermen, so the bread would have been somewhat like our pita bread, not necessarily like the matzahs that are here in front of you here. They would have been more a little thicker, a little doughier, but not much. Still thin, unleavened. It had to be unleavened. The household utensils that they ate from and with were probably wooden, possibly terracotta, earthen type instruments. There could have been other people present, although Jesus said beforehand that he just wanted to eat this Passover meal with his disciples. So there might have been, Mary, his mother, Mary Magdalene, and quite possibly a few others. But this is his last. He wanted his closest associates with him. Okay, on the average, a more common modern Passover meal might include hors d'oeuvres, lamb, some in-season vegetables, unleavened bread, obviously, and wine, along with the traditional Seder, which was, actually this was started around 1000 AD. So a depiction with Jesus, for instance, dipping the parsley in the salt water, which is part of it, part of the new one, probably did not happen. Anyway, you want to take a look at this? It's just a fact. Oh, there it went. So it's in the pocket. This is not necessarily a common, this is probably upper end people, but that's a representation of the food that's available. And it's like, oh, wow. Over on the far right over there is the Seder plate. I have to apologize for the one I have in front of you. There's supposed to be an egg on there, a hard-cooked egg, and we forgot it. That's okay. And you can see, they had, the normal meal would be lamb, beef, chicken, turkey, no pork. Sorry. The first, okay, it's the Seder part is governed by a booklet called the Haggadah. And this was not even, okay, let me read what I put. The first printed Haggadah was used before the Spanish expelled the Jews in 1492. So it's a while ago. But that's been revised, revised over the years to bring it to a more modern configuration. So it's and I have one here. Come on, turn the page. Thank you. Early on at an appointed time in the Haggadah, the youngest boy present who can reads 4 questions. Okay, these are, actually there's 5. They are, why is this night different from all other nights? That's kind of the lead in, okay. On all other nights, we eat leavened or unleavened bread. On this night, why only unleavened bread? On all other nights, we eat herbs of any kind. On this night, why only bitter herbs? On all other